Okay, what I thought I could do, instead of trying to show you how to assemble a tender, or this particular tender, is this has been put together to test fit all of the parts. I'm done with that. I'm now in the process of printing the final parts. So as I completed these assemblies, they're going to replace the parts that are on here, but they're basically very similar, just final tweaks and stuff. So what I thought I'd do is show you what this tender consists of and how we get it apart and get the screws out and stuff like that, so that you can see what's in here. Okay, so first let's take an orientation if we can. This is the Vanderbilt tender from Neil Ferris. This chassis frame is one that I've designed, a modified one that Neil had, because I wanted to have all-wheel pickup. And as you can see here, the all-wheel pickup challenge is getting the pickup wire isolated from the chassis and each wheel isolated on the axle from the other wheel. And we do that by having an insulator between the axle. We actually cut the axle in half and stick the axle inside the insulator after it's cut in half, leaving an air gap, but the axle is very secure. That gives us a solid wheel set but insulated electrically. So this rail that sits here will send its energy through these pickups, and the rail that sits here, right, you see, will send its energy to this pickup. And as they roll along and touch, all of these wheels are on this rail and all of these wheels are on this rail. So if one wheel is dirty or has a crack or the track gets dirty or has a bump, we do not lose continuity for the control. Energy is pretty much consistent. Okay, that was, besides being a Vanderbilt, that was one of my little objective in the project. So what Neil has is a back end. The rear end of this pops off or lifts out. We really don't have a good way of putting it in yet. We're going to have some screws or snaps or something that holds this on but doesn't make it permanent. Okay, so we set that aside that way. Then we turn it upside down, and Neil gives us 3 places to screw into in the 4 corners, very much akin to the flyer settings. And we only have 2 screws in because I knew this was just a test part and it's not going to be flying around quite yet. So I should have that out. There's 1 screw is out, and I rotate it and I put this somehow. I try to get in there with my screwdriver. I'm hoping I can. There we go. Might not have engineered this as smartly as I could have. I could maybe push that back a little bit. I don't know. Okay, so now that screw is going to come out. There they are. The 2 screws are out, and this is disassembled from the chassis. But because of the complexity of the assembly with the PC boards inside it, we have to slide this out. Okay, and it should, in the end, these will all be fastened down and it will slide nicer. So now we can see what's inside here among the menagerie. Also, the PC boards are assembled with sticky tape, and they are screwed down in 3 places. Very overkill. I may get rid of that and just use 2. But they're using a black chassis screw. I'm looking over my shoulder for an example, and I don't see one handy. Oh yeah, here we go. So it uses this black screw up from the bottom to get into that, and that holds this down once it's assembled. Now the wiring from the trucks come up here, right? Each side is wired together in the tether, right? And that goes into here, and this one was the right side, so that's red, it goes into here. So with those wire links disconnected, you can set that aside for now and worry about checking this, stuffing it right, wiring it up. That's what I'll be doing, if not today, tomorrow. I'm going to be wiring these boards up, and I'm going to do a functional test. I'm going to bring in track power as if it were on these leads and test this function, have a soundboard, have it wired to the motor, jumpered into the motor in the chassis, which is here. I might take this out. I want to show you another idea I had recently, because these things take on a life of their own, and that is that's not good for me. So I'm having an idea. I just sold a Hudson steam tender that I had acquired. It did not run. I took it apart, I found the wiring error, and I repaired it, and I got it to run. I also cleaned and repaired the motor on the smoke tender. I got the smoke to run. So we had a working, running Hudson that required some assembly. Oh, I've got this hooked up. Hold. Where's that? I thought they were here. They are. Now we can get this baby off. There we go. So there's the chassis. Get him off, set him aside. Here's the chassis with the motor. So with this wired up with jumpers, I can then jumper the motor in, and I can jumper the smoke in. I could actually build a wire harness just like this. In fact, that's probably what I'll do. Maybe tomorrow I'll start wiring this thing up. I need to add the chuff trigger. You remember there's a little bracket that goes there, and it holds the little limit switch, and that'll be wired into the circuit for sound, for chuff. Give us a chuff trigger. And this thing could then be tested with a amplifier or transformer, and may tested for operations. Everything else you see is just hiding it and decorating it and all that. It makes it functional, but that's what it is. So I'm thinking what I may want to do in the future is build kits to this level: functional, smoke, reverse, lighting, whatever anyone wants, but stop and send them the rest of the bits to assemble themselves. Question: is that interesting to anybody? You may think that makes sense. So that, well, all they have to do is bolt things together, very simple wire connections, and it will run because it was tested, and I have a video of how I did it and how it ran, and so they know what to do. I think that would save me, because yes, I can assemble stuff. I can polish this so that it cleans up and it looks like chrome, but I can't get paid to do that. I mean, that's just me working hours for nothing, because no one's going to pay for that. But it's something I can show you guys how to do, what materials to use, how to use them, how to take this nasty stuff, make it shine like chrome, and put it on your train. I can make that information and the things that you need to get, the rags, the polishes, make that all available. You do it because you can. It gives you a chance to bond with the train, to become one with the train, and I know it sounds silly, and I am kidding in a way, but it happens to me. All of my trains are like puppies. I told Margaret this. I hate it when I have to give one away, but you have to do that. In any case, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to talk to the owner and ask, if I put this together and it runs, can I send you all this? And the overall cost is about where it is, but it's not going to take hours and hours and days for me to do something that I will never get paid for. And it will give him a chance to do something that he may enjoy as part of the hobby. Polishing your engine part is like cleaning the hubcaps on your car or waxing your car. It's your car. You go out the next day, you see it, it's yours, it's waxed, and you did it. If you do these things, does that help you? It helps me. In the end, it would lower the cost of some of these engines. If I did this complete, it would be, $400 or $500. But I can fix this. I can add some tack. We can make it in the, $250 range, and you finish it, and you save a bunch of money. I save a bunch of time, and we both are happy, I hope. Anyway, that's a thought. Think that over. Write a comment, please. Tell me what you think. If sort of assemblies that run but are not complete interesting to you. Anyway, so this is how this comes apart. This is what it's going to look like. And this is the heart and soul. And there'll be other variations. I'll use this same platform, but I can put different variations of control on here. And I can go show you that too. So now this is the chassis that we put together. And the fun part is this, ideally, if I've been smart, those will bolt onto this so that any Flyer chassis could accept these trucks. Okay, why? Who cares? All-wheel pickup, suspension that works, and more reliability, especially if you're going to maintain the old switch, the old reverse, because if it gets disconnected, it will go to neutral. And that just stops everything. And then you got to go backwards, then neutral, then forwards to get it going again. So especially if you're using the original Flyer reverse, this is useful. If you're using digital, it's useful because they don't like to be interrupted either. So anyway, let's try an experiment. What do you say? Let's take this apart and let's see if I can assemble it onto this guy. I think so, but I can't swear to it. Let's see what happens. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these wires off because I can, and I'm going to show you how you do that. This bolt comes out. Bolt. It's a little screw. That's a smoke screw, by the way. That's a smoke screw. And they are reproduced. You can buy them brand new, and they're nice and clean and shiny, and they work great. This is a chassis screw, and you can buy them reproduction, nice and new, clean, black, rust-free, and that's great. Okay, now then. This is designed with a little bit of flex in the end so that you can pop out a shaft end, and then you pop out the other shaft end, and you lift out the wheel and the axle, just like that. Then you do the other one, which is easier because there's nothing back here to hide to keep it together. Now, this is free. This is free. Let's just jump right ahead. Let's jump right ahead and just see. It's a little tall, isn't it? I might have to work on that. He's a little tall, but let's just go with it. Let's not get too excited yet. Okay, it's tall. I admit it. Stay with me now. Stay with me now. It's a little tall, but you know, those pins, I could have a stock pin and a non-stock pin. Okay. Let's pretend the pin is shorter. Let's pretend it's that. Is that too short? Maybe, I don't know. It's possible that's too short. I can put some spacers in there. If we rest it, it'll just rest at that height. Okay, there we go. I think this could work. Look at that. I think these could work. Alright. Alright. There's hope, right? There's hope. Let's try this. Let's try this. Or I just make a spacer at the top. But you really don't want to take room out of the cab area, or the tender area, because you're going to have digital stuff in there, you know? You know what I mean, Joe? Okay. Mean Joe Green? Comes right off. These come off. Let's get the wheels out of the way. There's one. Oh, there's one. There's another. Oh, these have the brass bushings. Oh, the brass bushings are on their way. I also found another source for them that's a lot cheaper. I think I was being had by one of my vendors. I'm not going to name names. It's fine. Everybody's got to make a living. Sort of. Just not on my back. Okay. There's that. Let's get that out of here. Get these out of here. I'll show you how we do those later. Easy. It's real easy. Make them on the bench. That's another session. You'll just have to bear with me on that. Oh, I'm getting too antsy here. I want it out. There we go. Now it's out. Now it's on. Is it short? Oh yeah, oh no, this one is shorter. You know, it could be a problem with that. I'm going to be testing, I'm printing new pins, printing the final pin. Wow, that is a lot shorter, it seems like. Okay. That could work better. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I did change it, I just didn't change this back one. Man, this one's much longer. Okay, let's put this on. There, this goes there, that goes here, and when you put the second set in, it helps keep them spread apart because they have that 30 inches there. Okay, boom, boomski, look at that, boomski. Okay, I'm gonna go get something and come right back. Alright, now what I have here is a little spooky, so don't get worried. I'm not sure how I'm going to make this work, but it will. It will work. Oh, I knew I couldn't do it. Alright, hold on. Come on, you. Get in there. Oh, it doesn't fit, that's why. Oh, drat. Okay. Alright, I'm caught in the act of trying to be neat, and I didn't test it. Okay. This is the anniversary train tender that I've worked on in the past and built. But what I wanted to see, I want to put these on one of my engines, right? So when these come off, they're prototypes and they're not production and all that, but I can use them. They're mine. I can use them. I'm going to replace them with new. I got to tuck this wire in here so it stays up. Then I'm going to bring this down, and here it comes. So I can go get the tender for this and put these on, and I would have all-wheel pickup for my anniversary train for my wife. Well, it's my train, but it's in honor of our anniversary. So the idea is, here you see a streamlined Pacific, a vintage Atlantic, a Lionel Heresy, a Flyer chassis, and a Vanderbilt custom built tender and chassis. And the common denominator in all of these is they will have all-wheel pickup. So no matter what's on here going along the track, hopefully it rolls in the same direction. If it's on the track, it will, right? And you'll have all-wheel pickup. Isn't that neat? Okay, so let's get one of these apart so I can explain one last thing. 20 minutes, that's okay. As long as I have memory, I think I do. Okay, this comes off. This is the pin. Okay, this is the pivot pin. That's a part. This is the side frame. Here's another side frame. Okay, so there's a side frame. There's two of those, right? There is a wheel assembly. Oh, and there's a hub. Well, here, I can do it this way. There. Okay. So there's two of these, one of those, this hub, and then the last piece is the axle adapter, separator. So when you look at this, I have these super magnets, and all of my tools are now magnetized. One part, two parts, three parts, the pivot, pin pivot, 4 parts. So there's 4 different parts to assemble this. You need 4 of these, you need 4 of these, you need 2 of these, and 2 of these to assemble the all-wheel pickup. Now, the tricky part then is the wiring. And what I have learned is if I make this hole big enough, these wires can be pre-assembled and installed. Look at this. Are you watching? I poke the short end down the hole and the dude comes out, the whole thing. Okay? So, 2 things I can do. I can make a video on how to make the wire. I can get some of the wire and I can send it to you, or I suppose the best thing to do would be for me to make these and send them with the engine, which probably I could do. But if anybody is interested, I could just make 2. The only thing I'd have to do is maybe put a red shrink wrap on one set. Like here I have a red wire. Just put a red dot on one so you know which track is conventional, you know, red or black. But these could all be pre-assembled, pre-made, and you thread them in the same exact way, right? You got to have a hole. Like here's the hole I may use here for this one. I would like it to be right in the center where this stop is, but we're flexible, right? We can do things a little different. So you thread that through just like that, and then the short end goes to the rear, and it pivots like this, so this one could go right here onto this truck, just like that. Bada boom, bada bing. So with the wheels off, it's easy to do. You assemble this first, then you thread your wire and you assemble the wire, then you install the wheels. Done. So it's very simple. It's actually a lot easier than the original ones if you have done those with their connectors and copper flappy things and rivets with insulators. Hold it all together, hit the rivet, keep it together. This, I think, could be pretty cool. And I'm thinking what I may do is just put them together as kits. I put all these parts in a box. I get the screws and put them in a bag. And I get the proper height of the pivot pin, and we'll think about, do I create this or do you? And then include 2 of these in the box and say all-wheel pickup for a Flyer chassis. Who would be interested in seeing that or buying that? Okay, and if you do that, I have no idea what this is worth. My costs in material isn't really that bad, but the time taken has been significant to get to this point. This customer has been so very patient waiting on his Atlantic with the Vandy Tender, but I wanted to get all-wheel drive up, and if I want it for him, I have to do it for myself and everyone. I have to make sure it's right, so it took a little extra time. Had some product failures. This particular plastic is just awful. I may have to go to a different plastic. That's what I'm going to be doing, experimenting and testing today. In any case, all-wheel pickup for the masses, retrofittable, cable, everything you need, screws. The disassembly, because it's riveted, is a little messy. You have to drill a hole in the rivet end so it can slide out. Once you've done that, it all just falls apart. So that's the most tedious, frightening, oh my God, I'm drilling a hole in my train. You're going to drill out the rivet and get that out of here. Then everything else is assembled with screws and plastic parts, screwdriver. Everybody should be able to do this, I think. Anyway, I'm going to end this. My parts are done. I got to get back to work. I'm going to post this on YouTube. You guys think it over. Talk to me. Write me. Let me know what you like or not. Let's see what we can do about it. Make something happen for all of us. It's not the money. I don't make much on any of these things. I make $2, $3, that kind of stuff. It's not a retirement plan. I am already retired. But it's my hobby, you know. I got to buy more filament. I got to buy more screws. So I need something for it. But it'll be reasonable as I can make it, and let's see what we can do, okay? If anyone's interested in buying the parts and assembling them for other people, that would be fine. I'd go that route too. You know, you just let me know. Talk to me. Talk to you later. Have a good day. It's only Tuesday. We got a lot of time left. Caps lost last night. Big game. They were ahead. Couldn't hold on. It's a bad sign. I don't dislike the Bruins. I don't like a couple of their players, but in general, it's fine. Whoever wins is the best. I know that. It looks like it's going to be Boston, but I really, really like the Capitals ice hockey team. I hope they win. Later, gang. Talk to you. Bye.